Aloha, and welcome to Voices of Truth, one-on-one with Hawaii's future, brought to you by the Kiwani Foundation. I'm Ehu Keikahu Cardwell, and here we are today on the windward side of Oahu. We got a great guest on the show. Let's go on over here and meet her. Laulani, aloha.
Aloha, Ehu.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Laulani Teale, did I say your name right?
Yes, you did.
Wonderful. Tell us where we are today. This is gorgeous here.
This is Ho'omaluhia Park. We're in Luluku on the windward side of Oahu.
Wow. Wow, it's wonderful. Well, we wanted to have you on the show, Laulani, because we know you've been involved in a lot of stuff. You're very active. As a matter of fact, we could call you a bona fide activist, couldn't we?
You probably could do that.
And you're one of those citizens here who's, you know, basically you're one of the people that we like to have on the show because you get involved in stuff, and when you see something that you think needs help or corrected, you jump in with both feet, don't you?
Well, when I need to, I do. I am a peacemaker primarily, and I want to make that really clear.
How interesting.
As a peacemaker, it does become necessary for me to ensure pono, which is, in my view, the Hawaiian word for peace. It does become necessary to, as you say, at times jump in with both feet and help to make things pono.
Right, right. And I also know that you've been involved with the local Occupy movement here in town in Honolulu, yeah?
Yes, I am a supporter of Occupy. I'm not a member, but I am a strong supporter, and I do try to help however I can. Kanawai Mamalahoi, the law of the splintered paddle, was the first law of the Kingdom of Hawaii. It was decreed by Kamehameha I.
Something happened way back then to Kamehameha that caused this law for him to create it, yeah?
Exactly.
Tell us what happened.
While he was fighting in Puna,
on Hawaii Island.
On Hawaii Island, he met up with two fishermen. I believe these fishermen were actually well known. They were maka'ainana.
So they were commoners.
They were commoners, but I believe that they were well known commoners, you know, amongst their own people, and that if you read between the lines in the story, it sounds like they were well known for perhaps raising some criticism about the government, you know, and questioning.
I see.
Which is the right of the people to do, and in fact is a necessary process in all societies.
Sure.
So these fishermen were fishing, and Kamehameha came upon them and chased them with the intent, presumably, to kill them. And in the process of chasing them, you know, even though he's a very large, strong warrior, he caught his foot in the lava rock and was unable to move. Well, the fishermen, in order to save their own lives, turned around and hit him over the head with a paddle. That paddle broke into pieces.
A canoe paddle.
A canoe paddle, yes, a hoi, right? It broke into pieces. And that's mamalahoi, the broken canoe paddle. And when that it broke, it didn't kill Kamehameha, but it did teach him a lesson that the power of the common people is to be respected.
Wow.
And that has been the law of this land forever, since long, long before we can even remember the time of chiefs.
Wow.
So in remembering that, Kamehameha was wise enough to decree Kanawai Mamalahoi, the law of the splintered paddle, and therefore he decreed that no one should harm anyone, any common person, as they lay in the road, literally is what he said. Let every man, every elder, every woman, every child be able to lay in peace in the road, even without any threat of harm, and let them not be bothered. And he meant specifically by the government. So in this way, he was able to assure peace for Hawaii, because that was the only way to make stability, where the people would actually respect the chiefs and where you have essentially a stable system. Unfortunately, that stability is no longer present in the government, or so-called government that we have today.
All right, good. So that was a law that he instituted like 300 years ago. So that's the ancient history. And so now we come to the present day, and
Right.
we come to you.
Right.
And you had a direct experience with that law, the law of the broken paddle, the splintered paddle, right?
Right. Well, I've had many experiences with Kanawai Mamalahoi, but essentially, the reason that I've been having those experiences is that what I've observed and what many others have been observing is that there no longer is that respect for the common people in the system in Hawaii today, by the occupational government.
The U.S. government.
The U.S. government, which, you know, as we know, is not here legally, but even to work as a de facto entity or one that's here by force.
Right.
You know, even in that capacity, we would expect basic human rights to be respected. And unfortunately, they're not being respected. We are taking a stand in requesting very strongly that this government, illegal or not, respect the human rights of the people and respect Kanawai Mamalahoi. If it does not, it is subject to the consequences of Kanawai Mamalahoi, whose last line is Heva no make, or if you break this law, you will die. And in the case of the government, that means that this government will fall.
So Kanawai Mamalahoi is really all about, fundamentally about human rights, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Human rights for everyone.
For everybody, not just some, but
Not
for
just
everybody.
some, for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Hawaiian Kingdom government was well known for doing just that, wasn't
Right.
it?
It is no longer possible to live as a Hawaiian at all. In any way, shape, or form. It's not legal according to their quote-unquote laws. They want us to practice our culture, but only within certain contexts.
Within a small box.
Exactly.
Yes.
To dance hula,
Yes.
and in the case of May 1st, to make leis.
So, Laulani, I know we've been talking about the law of the splintered paddle in the past, but something happened to you in the present just recently where you saw the effects of that not being enforced, huh?
Right.
Tell us what happened.
Right. Well, we've been seeing a lot of problems, especially when APEC came to Hawaii.
And what was APEC?
APEC is the Asian Pacific Economic Cooperation Organization. It's a multinational organization that met here. And one of the many negative results on Hawaii was severe oppression of the houseless. And
In other words, they had to get them out of the way because they didn't want the world leaders to see them when they came to town, right?
Absolutely. And
Gotcha.
protesters and Hawaiians in general.
Gotcha. So
Well-
anybody who might make a little noise, might make things get a little ugly, they
Right.
banish them.
Absolutely. And we saw a martial law-like situation. Many of us who believe in peace and who believe in Kanawai Mamalahoi decided to take this to a stronger and yet very peaceful level of communication. We had an encampment for several days, for a whole week in fact, in Waikiki. And we asserted Kanawai Mamalahoi there. We refused to leave, and we held a small native camp with educational materials for 1 week. And we educated police officers, we educated tourists, we educated the general public, and we tried as much as possible to communicate with the government to educate them as well. We were threatened with arrest multiple times. I wasn't actually arrested during that encampment. However, when we continued to assert and remind people about Kanawai Mamalahoi, and one thing I should mention is that at the very end of our encampment, one of our strong supporters was the De-Occupy Honolulu group, who came down to support, you know, because they want to align with Native causes as much as possible.
Yeah.
They came down to support, even carried the entire encampment literally for 5 hours from midnight to 5 a.m. around the entire Kapi'olani Park.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're very strong supporters. So at the end of our encampment, they needed support because they were being threatened with arrest, and in fact, some were arrested. So we brought people there and have been working on an alignment, of those who, within the context of America, are resisting that system, and those within the context of Hawaiians and the Native people. Are resisting here.
Because they're closely aligned causes, yeah?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. We need each other in order to overturn this giant problem that we're all facing. We really need each other. We need to respect one another, and we need to align.
Yeah. All right, so at some point, I know a banner was made, yes?
Right. We wanted to celebrate Kanawai Mamalahoi. Specifically, there was an indigenous artist named Raul Gonzalez who donated his time and his paint. He's an internationally acclaimed mural artist. And he
made this big banner, didn't he?
Yes, he came and he painted with his whole family this beautiful banner that represented Kanawai Mamalahoi. That banner was to be used ceremonially on May the 1st for International Workers' Day, which was only 2 days away. In the one day between the painting of the banner and May Day, that banner was stolen by the City and County of Honolulu, by the Department of Facilities and Maintenance.
It was stolen?
Yes, the City and County roped off the entire area with police tape, and they only targeted the one place where that banner was.
Really?
And they only took the contents of that storage area, which included that banner and a banner that said "Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono."
How about that? What a coincidence, huh?
Yes, yes. So those were the two things that they took. They took nothing else.
Interesting.
So we
So they roped the area off, they took that stuff out, they took the ropes down, you guys went in to see what was there or what wasn't there, and you discovered, whoops, they took these things. They stole them, huh?
Well, they did it right in front of many people. And
Really?
So, yeah, and so people were demanding that they not take these items, and it's all on the Ustream. It was all recorded.
So it's well documented.
Yes,
it's up
it's-
on the internet.
Yes, it is. I spent the entire day essentially working within the system to try to get the banner back peacefully. I was unsuccessful, completely unsuccessful.
What happened when you called down there?
I was directed to call several other places. All were dead ends.
So they gave you the runaround, is what you're saying, yeah?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Yes. When I eventually was unsuccessful, because I still had the responsibility, the kuleana, to bring that banner as promised to the ceremony on May the 1st, I found it necessary, while I was at Kapi'olani Park, and remember that my family was there practicing our culture, and the mayor was there too.
Really?
Yes, because it was a major city event, with the whole May Day pageant and
A lot of people there.
everything. Yes, absolutely.
And the news media was there, no doubt.
Absolutely. So what we did, some of us went amongst the crowd and began to educate people and just let them know what was happening and the real cultural issues that were happening in Hawaii. As we are here celebrating Hawaiian culture, it's important that people know the truth of what is really happening with the foundation of being Hawaiian, which is Kanawai Mamalahoi and Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono.
So you weren't just educating people about stolen banners. You were telling them about really how Hawaiians are treated here at best as second-class citizens, yes?
Essentially, yes. Well, how real culture is unfortunately not being respected, and the need for all of us peacefully to stand up together against this kind of injustice. So yes, I was educating people about what is going on, because in order to assure pono, that was the best thing that I could do in a peaceful manner as a cultural practitioner. After the mayor finished speaking, I attempted to ask him a question. I wanted to ask him what I needed to do to have the banners peacefully returned that day in time for the ceremony.
And what happened when you did that?
I was stopped by the police. I was told that I needed to leave the area. Not only that I couldn't speak with the mayor, but that I needed to leave the area. I let them know that I was in a public place. I was attempting to speak with a public official at a public event, and that it really was not legal for them to force me to actually leave the area. And so I asked them if I was...
Because that was a violation of Kanawai Mamalahoe, yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when they absolutely insisted that I completely clear out of the area, I simply sat down in the same area that others were sitting to watch the show. Unfortunately, their response to that was to pick me up and arrest me.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you got arrested?
Yes, I did.
After you decided to sit down and be perfectly still and peaceful?
Yes.
Wow. So they took you off to jail?
Yes, they did, which was conveniently near to Thomas Square, where I was playing music in a few hours, so it was good. I got to practice my vocals, but I was injured in the process, and it was difficult. Yeah.
How were you injured?
They twisted my arms.
Really?
Yeah, they tried to do a nerve compression, and so my finger is still numb.
Wow.
And this wrist was sprained.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So how long were you in jail?
A few hours. Yeah, and then I was bailed out. Yeah, there was one thing that made me feel really good was that a number of people, especially from the De-Occupy Honolulu camp, came and staged a protest in front of the police station.
Is that right?
For me, yeah,
Good.
which I found to be really heartwarming.
Good for them.
Yeah.
Good for them. Okay, so you got out, then what'd you do?
And then I went to Thomas Square and played music. I unfortunately was unable to bring the banner, but I do feel that I was successful in bringing the spirit of that banner to that event. And that was, to me, what was really important. And that is what I think we all need to do as Kanaka, as people, you know, who believe in consciousness and basic human rights. We need to bring that spirit of Kanawai Mamalahoe, of human rights, of respect for the common people to light, even when we face obstacles, even when we face oppression. I
know that you went to the mayor's office downtown and attempted to see him to get the banner back. Tell us about that.
Well, I was unsuccessful, but we did see the mayor, although interestingly, his staff said that he wasn't in the building anymore, but when we went to another office, we saw him running away from us. And I don't have an explanation for that, but...
I think we can pretty easily conclude what that was all about. So you went down there to see him. They said, no, he's left already. You went to another office. All of a sudden, whoops, there's the mayor, and he's running away from Laulani Teale.
I guess it was me. I don't know why. I'm a peacemaker, and I don't find myself to be a scary person, but apparently that's what it looks like.
You finally got the banner returned, yes?
I did, after much, very intensive struggle. Yes.
Wow, wow. And, you know, it seems to me, Laulani, that I guess they must think those banners are very dangerous.
It seems so, and I really don't understand why. When if they would simply align themselves with Kanawai Mamalahoe and simply recognize the illegality of their own government, we could work out a peaceful solution together.
What are some of the lessons that you've learned from this whole experience?
Well, some of the lessons that I've learned is, number one, that the power of the common people really is very strong, and that is, to me, without a doubt, the key to change, to making things better for everyone.
Why is that?
I think it's because the people are closer to the land, really.
You mean that literally, don't you? The feet are, their feet are touching the land.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And they're touching each other.
Yes.
You know, whereas those who sit in high offices are somewhat removed. Unfortunately,
they're
that's
up
been
away
my
from the land. Yes. They're not in touch with the land like the common people are.
Exactly. And it is my belief that the land speaks to us when we touch it, as we're touching it right now. The land speaks through us. And as Queen Liliuokalani said, that voice that comes from the land through the common people is the voice of God. It's the job of everyone to listen to that voice. And so that's what I would like to see. I would like to see the voice of the common people grow stronger, the voice of all people grow stronger in what is right.
Wow. Wow. So what has this incident propelled you or inspired you to do for the future?
I think that I am prepared to continue to stand for what is right. I continue to make peace and to do my work as a peacemaker. I am continuing to help to malama the young, the Opio, who have a very strong voice as well, and to help to build bridges as much as possible, given that we are in many difficult situations and there are many complexities that we all face, and yet we still need to build bridges to truly make things pono with true respect for ea and pono and for the real Hawaii.
Wow. And so, Laulani, what would you like to see for the future of Hawaii?
I would like to see Hawaii be the center for peace in this part of the Pacific, and for us to bond with others who are working toward pono, and by that I mean particularly those who are activists in working in human rights.
Anywhere in the world, right?
Anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And also our native brothers and sisters throughout the Pacific, throughout the world, who also need their voices to be strengthened so that they can help to guide people in doing what is really right, in building a world in which our mo'opuna can live and not perish due to absolute utter stupidity.
Wow, it really is the same struggle everywhere, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. You know, Laulani, we have viewers and Voices of Truth not only throughout Hawaii, but around the world. And it could very well be that right now, somebody on the other side of the planet is watching us going, you know what? She's a strong lady. She can do that. But I don't know if little old me could do that. What would you say to them?
Well, we all have our own roles, and it's very important that we all do them in the best and most pono way that we can. And at the same time, not to lie to ourselves. We are facing a lot of oppression. We are facing a lot of obstacles. We are facing a lot that is wrong in this world, and we need to work to make it right. We can't kid ourselves about that.
Wow.
We all need to do our part, whatever that may be, in turning that over and making it right.
Wow. Are you hopeful for the future, Laulani?
I am. I believe in people. I believe in all people, regardless of who they are, where they live. I really believe in them. Even some of those who are doing wrong right now, I believe they have the capacity to turn, but they won't be the first ones to turn. It has to start with the common people, with the wisdom that comes through the Aina, through us, and through our voices, through the voices of truth.
Wow, super. Are you ever going to give up?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you know what? I'll let you in on a secret. We're going to win.
Ah, very good. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
And I do know that.
I like that.
You know, no matter what happens, you know, I recognize that when one walks this path, we often encounter a lot of difficulties. I mean, we can look at all the great peacemakers before who've died in this kind of line of work, and you know, while I hope that doesn't happen to me, I am confident that no matter what, my work will continue on, just as all the other people that I work with, you know, all the wonderful, beautiful people of the land. Our work will continue no matter what, and we will be victorious in the long run.
Wow, that's wonderful. You're very highly inspirational. Please don't stop. Please keep doing what you're doing. Thanks so much for being on the show today and
Mahalo.
Voices of Truth. It's wonderful to have you on the show. And to our viewers, mahalo to you for joining us on Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future. Remember, you can watch us on the web 24/7 on voicesoftruth.tv.com. I'm Ehu Keikahu Cardwell for the Kiwani Foundation. And until next time, ahui ho! Mahalo for watching Voices of Truth One-on-One with Hawaii's Future. Watch us on the web 24/7 at voicesoftruth.tv.com. You'll find all our shows, including this one, in case you want to see it again or share it with family and friends. Also view our weekly video commentaries at freehawaiitv.com. And check out our blog, published daily, at freehawaii.info. It's all part of the Free Hawaii Broadcasting Network.